Welcome everyone, John Denton here, and this webinar is for all of my mentoring group participants, coaching and consulting clients and invited guests. It is based upon the content that we covered in a recent business owner mentoring group workshop. And today, I and my friend and associate Peter Butler are going to be talking about digital media marketing. There's a whole lot of hype and misinformation out there about online digital media marketing, and Peter Butler from Smarter Websites is on this webinar to help us put the record straight and give us some great ideas on how you can market your business more effectively online. But before we get into that, I'll just cover a few housekeeping matters for those who may be new to webinars. So on your screen now, you can see the control panel. The control panel may be minimized on your screen. It'll just be a little strip with that orange button with the white arrow on it. If you click on the white arrow, it will expand your control panel out. And on there, you can see that there's a raise your hand button, and you can type in questions. Your microphones at the moment are all on mute, just to cut down on any background noise and disturbance, so I'll turn them on as and when appropriate for the question and answer sessions, or if you particularly want to say something whilst we're going through, you can raise your hand, or better still, type questions or comments into the question panel. So just to make sure that you can all hear me and that you can find your control panel, can you click on the raising your hand button now, please, just so that I can see the hands go up. Thank you. Okay, that's all looking pretty good. Okay, I'm going to drop those hands down now, reset that, and we'll move on. So what we're going to cover? Peter, your cough reminded me you're there.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Okay, Peter.
Good afternoon, John.
Yes, good afternoon, Peter. Thank you for coming on the call. Thank you for doing such a good job of the workshop the other week.
My pleasure.
Okay, so let's get moving. So what we're going to cover: review some of the content from the last workshop, introduce some new content. We'll have a question and answer session. We'll do a website critique on Bernie's website, and we'll talk a little bit about preparation for the next workshop. First of all, I just want to set the scene. We're talking about marketing. That's been the topic for the last couple of months. We did branding with Penny Askin, and now we're looking at digital media marketing. And just a reminder, one of my favorite little pictures here, that business is very simple. It's just a question of getting the maths right and getting the psychology right. The psychology being the marketing and the sales. If you can make the sales and you charge the right sort of figures for your product and service, and you deliver good product and service, then you should have a good business. So it's all about getting the psychology right. And that comes down to, and again, you'll be sick of hearing this by December, the 3 M's. You know, what's the market? Who's your niche? An inch wide, a mile deep is the best kind of niche you have. And you can have multiple niches, but be very specific about who you're trying to sell to and who you're trying to get on board for your product or service. What's the message that they want to hear? What's the message that's going to get them to pay attention? And what are you actually selling that meets that message? And then what's the medium? Where does your market hang out? How do you reach them? How do you get your message to your niche market? And today we're going to be talking about the medium being digital media marketing. And that can take many forms. Generally speaking, most businesses have a website, and most, and Peter will expand on this a little bit, I'm sure, most of the social media marketing and the other techniques around it are designed to get people back to your website. So it all starts with having a good, effective website. As I say, it's my pleasure to have Peter Butler online. So Peter, just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to be doing what you're doing today.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks, John. Good to be on the call. Look, just following up from that, I actually started working with mortgage brokers initially. However, in my industry, no pain, no sale. The mortgage brokers were doing it quite well at that stage. And so because the commissions were healthy and the referrals were strong, they really didn't have a need. Now, as soon as the market got tight and the banks started changing the commission structure, massive amounts of pain, same as any of us in business, really. If there's a pain, business is going to be easy to get. You know, that's what business is about, providing a solution. So started working with the mortgage brokers, evolved into coaches, recruitment specialists and so forth, and evolved from there. And I think the biggest point of difference for us, and business grew very quickly, is we got that it's all about the marketing. You know, yes, a website's graphically designed, and God bless them, we need graphic designers. However, they're not marketers. Same as the developers, the ones that do all the techie code. They're not marketers. It's all about marketing. And you know, your slide here, you know, I see people going off on this tangent with social media. It's absolutely valid, but it's just a medium. It's the same as a newspaper is a medium. But you own your website. You control that. So everything you do online and everything you do offline can bring people online to your website because you own it, you control it. But you've got to create it from a marketing point of view. I'd be interested to know how many people here see the merit and the benefit of networking. You know, most of us get that if we network, we meet people, we get to know them, trust is increased, you know, their credibility is established, they're identified as being an authority in their industry. So all of those things we do offline, my take is to let's take them online. You know, we want to establish trust really quickly on our website. We've got to prove credibility, you know, show that we're authoritative, all of those elements. How do we do that? You know, that's where the marketing comes to play. Now, it's got to be graphically gorgeous, of course it does, but it's got to be based on those elements. It's got to be based on functionality. That makes sense so far?
Yeah, it certainly makes sense to me. It's like, you know, one of the things that I try to get across to people is that a website's not, it's no good just having an online brochure and something that looks pretty. It's got to be effective and it's got to generate leads. And that's where your smarter websites comes in because it's all about understanding the marketing.
Yeah.
The same with
absolutely.
Whether it's business cards or marketing material and brochures, there's got to be a purpose and it's got to get leads and get you business. So
yeah, absolutely. Things like business cards, you know, I've got my picture on my business card and whenever I hand it out, certainly at a larger networking event, it's like, oh, and people look at me because they're going to remember who it was. Whereas the rest of the business cards, they're not going to connect it with the person that handed it to them.
No, and that's where Penny's session, which was the month before you, Peter, you know Penny, she made some very good points about all of that. So before we go on, I just want to run a quick poll here for everyone on the webinar to find out what digital media marketing they're using at the moment. So just bear with me and I'll put that up on the screen.
Yep.
Okay, people, so if you could just have a look at that, just so that Peter can get a bit of an idea of what you're doing at the moment. If you could just vote, you can pick as many of those as you like. You're not limited to one. And then in about 4 seconds, I'll close the poll. And we'll put up the results.
Showing off, by the way, his technologically savviness.
Hey, I've got a Microsoft band now, and they're not even available in Australia yet.
I don't even know what that is.
Technology. Never mind, Peter. You'll catch up one day. Here we go. I'm going to close the poll now and share the results.
Okay.
So there we go. Yeah, 83% websites. Facebook's pretty popular and LinkedIn is, but not many people are twittering or blogging.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And look, I support the anticlimax on Twitter. I think I shared with your group, and for the benefit of you, Fiona, I know you can't respond, but I know you're on the call. Who else is on the call? Can I see? No. Anyway, the Twitter, I view Twitter like it's a networking event. Everybody rolls up to a big hall, everybody talks at the same time, and then everybody leaves. That's how I view it. However, having said that, I still have other social accounts linked to Twitter, so I Twitter without having to Twitter. Facebook and LinkedIn are certainly valuable. LinkedIn has actually made me a lot of money. Just by simply optimizing your profile. And a hint just while we're here, because I won't come back to it because of time, where it says the title of your role, if you've got managing director of whatever your company is, or your title or role in that company, you're actually wasting valuable space. If you go to LinkedIn and look for Peter Butler, look for Peter B. Butler, because Peter Butler is a very common gig. It's a very competitive industry being a Peter Butler. There's a lot of us. Facebook, what about the surgeons, plastic surgeons, rock stars, football players. But my profile has been optimized, and if you have a look, you'll see that I'm using keywords in my profile because that's what I want to be known for. When somebody searches for that service in LinkedIn, I want to show up, because they're very serious buyers. You want to show up. In fact, I was #1 in the world for website design out of 1.7 million people trying to rank for that term. And it's actually generated me a lot of leads, a lot of prospects, 2 local businesses worth about 30 grand actually. So I can put real numbers to it.
So the LinkedIn profile should be, it's like a website, needs to be optimized for the search engines, right?
Absolutely, yeah, fantastic opportunity, and most people just don't get it. Just for the benefit of everybody, John and I used to run LinkedIn workshops. We put it on hold for a little bit. Might be something we come back to. We may even sell our how to optimise your LinkedIn profile at some point. We'll keep you up to speed. Hey, you've changed sort of me. That's okay. I can go over the slide.
All right, just to keep us moving forward. I mean, obviously the internet's changing, the whole world's changing rapidly these days, and that was one of the reasons we stopped doing the LinkedIn workshops, because it kept changing so much, so often. But these are some of the changes that you've flagged. Do you want to just say a few words about these?
Yeah. So look, real-time search results is, look, the whole thing with Google is they want to have you to have a good user experience, right? When you're searching for a coffee shop, you don't type into Google coffee shop and coffee shops in Turkey show up. That's of no value to you at all. So, so there's an opportunity there, especially with the latest algorithm change, which came out last week, where what Google are looking for is fresh new content, so real-time search results. So if you've just published an article about engineering, or for you, Fiona, about, I don't know what workshop consultancy is about, so I'll have to find out more about that. For you, Wayne, about bookkeeping, or for any of the other listeners on the call, for your core business, if you're doing regular new blog posts, and that was in that other result, blogging is effectively the new SEO, or certainly a big part of it. So real-time search results, fresh new content is what Google is looking for. It makes you the authority. It identifies you as the go-to person, and your website will rank better. Local search results, just moving forward on that. Am I okay to go on?
Sorry, Peter, just before you go on, just a few words to explain what blogging is.
Blogging. Okay, so blogging is effectively online articles. So if you go to my website, smarterwebsites.com.au, do this later in your own time, you'll see down the bottom of my page, I've got a heap of blog posts. You could probably spend a good hour or two on my website reading up about anything online, because I do regular articles. It identifies me as the authority, and Google love it, absolutely love it. So do my readers, so do my listeners. While I was waiting for this webinar to start, I had a lead come in, which is a direct response of a blog post that I did on my website, which I emailed out to somebody. So I'm going to generate money from that. As well as that, the side benefit is Google love it, so they're going to give my website slightly higher rankings for certain keywords. That explain it pretty well?
Yeah.
So what it is and the benefits, I think.
So local search results.
Local search results, there's never been a better time for business owners to identify themselves locally online. Like my example about searching for coffee, you know, seriously, 5 or 6 years ago, if you search for coffee, because Turkish coffee was renowned around the world, not that it's that nice, but there's a good chance something in Turkey might have shown up, which wouldn't be what you're looking for. So you've got to, if you set up your Google account correctly, and I know Wayne has been doing things with Google. We had a conversation about that, and I believe he's resolved one of the issues he had at least. You've got to play the game with Google, and Google will play the game with you. There's a whole host of things that can be set up within Google to help show your business online. We were doing a search only about an hour before the call with one of my team members. I was looking for a street locally, that's right. There's a screen printing place locally. I couldn't remember the name of the business, so I went to Google Maps because I remember where the business was, and I was going to use Street View to look for it. Now, this business was not listed in Street View. Now, my business is. Now, as soon as I brought up the map, there's a little star icon with Smarter Websites. So people that aren't even looking for my business will see my business online in maps because I've got my business identified. And there's a whole host of other elements that people can do within Google to give yourself better search results. Now, when you do a search for any business in Google and the search results come up, generally there's a couple of ads at the top and there's the right-hand column with a whole heap of ads. What's happening now is Google is showing 1 to 3 ads at the top of the page, or there's the paid ads, the Google ads. Then there's 1, 2 or 3 free listings, and then there's actually local search results, and it's a little map marker. You'll see it if you look on Google, and that little map marker is an extra listing. So I've got Smarter Websites listed as a result, plus I've got a little map marker, so I've got 2 out of 10 results, which is better than having 1 out of 10. So it's helping me to get more visibility online, and we call it our local online hero package. We deliver one of those. It can be self-done. There's a whole heap of extras we do, but it's all about that. Google want to help local business.
And what people forget is that Google are one of the, if not the leading geo businesses, mapping businesses in the world. Google Maps and Google Earth and all of that. A lot of mining companies and people like that use Google Earth and Google Maps in their businesses. It's and land. I think the Landgate people here use it as well, and councils are starting to use it for, mapping blocks of land and all that sort of stuff. So yes, they're very big on that geo stuff, which is good for local businesses. Yeah. What does social signals? What's all that about?
Just finishing off with local search results. If you were to Google just Smarter Websites, my results on my home page take up about 1/3 of the page. So I've got literally 7 listings, plus map, plus images, plus reviews, plus my business address, operating hours. There's a whole heap of information. So I'm taking up 1/3 of the page. It's quite remarkable what can be done. Social signals. So social signals aren't just Facebook posts or LinkedIn updates. Social signals are all of what we've talked about so far. It's you doing a Facebook post is a social signal, but as well as that, say with my website as an example, I've done a blog post on websites being hacked. There's been a massive hack attack in the world over the last 3 weeks, and it's caused utter chaos. So I've written that blog post, I've emailed it out to a list, but on that blog post, not only does it, this is the benefits of WordPress, when you do a blog post, it actually pings the search engines like Internet Sonar. So it's telling search engines, hey, new content here. Again, helping your website rank better. Not only that, I just checked the other day and do read the article. Down the bottom, I've got social media sharing tools. So 17 people have shared that article on Facebook. Now, I may know those people, I might not, because I posted that post onto Facebook. So got a website, done a blog, I've automated this, so it automatically goes to Facebook. So people have read that, and they've clicked on the link, and they've gone to my website, they've read the article, and they've clicked on the share tool to share it with their friends. So I may or may not be connected with them, but let's say that the average person on Facebook has got 1,000 friends. 17 times 1,000, so my article has now been put in front of 17,000 people that I may or may not know. Well, I can tell you I don't know. So you should leverage, it's smart leverage. So that's one social signal. So now you're into the social page, social signals page, so social sharing is one. People may make comments. Now that earns you massive brownie points with Google, because they can see that a site allows comments is a brownie point. And I'll just qualify that. To win the game online with Google, let's say you've got to earn 100 points, right, to be on page 1 in Google, to get good rankings, good engagement, all the elements a good website should do. But not everything gives you 1 point. So comments might only have half a point. But social sharing, you might get 3 points for every time a social shared. Probably won't be, but it gives you a sort of a way to think about it tangibly. Backlinks, links from other people's site to your site. So if John, had a link on his website to mine, it's a backlink, and the more backlinks the site has, as long as it's relative and makes sense, then the more brownie points again you earn. Now, time on site and engagement. Again, this is something that, when I talked earlier about marketing and not just design, this is the functionality. We were going to critique Bernie Briggs' site. I'm not sure if Bernie's on the call or not.
Bernie is on the call, yeah.
Bernie's on the call. Sorry, Bernie, don't want to pick on you. Love you dearly, have never met you. Your website's on WordPress, so that's fantastic. However, it is an online brochure. And your time on site and your engagement is probably quite low because it's not designed in a way to take people on a journey. When people get to your website, you look at who they are, what is the pain they're in, what is the problem you solve, and what sort of a journey can you take them on to give them the answers to the questions they have. So, if you had somewhere on your website, I haven't got it up at the moment, now I do, well, we'll go back to your website. Anyway,
yeah,
I'll just focus on
we'll
time
bring it
on
up.
site engagement. Yep. So time on site, the longer people stay on your site, the more brownie points you get with Google. And by having blog posts, regular fresh new content is one way to achieve that. It also means that when somebody's engaged in your article, your blog post, then they're more likely to click through to somewhere else. So the more pages they go to, the longer they stay on the site, the more engaged they are, the more brownie points you earn with Google because they've gone to more than one page. Because going to one page and leaving again is considered a bounce. Demerit points, but not only that, with engagement being higher, credibility is increased, authority is increased, So it's like I related before, when we go networking, we know how to network properly and we connect and we engage. Well, we're doing that online. That's what we're trying to do online. So the more they stay on the site, the better they get to know you, get a feel for your company, the higher the credibility, and so it goes on. I've had people literally phone me up after being on the website, never met them, and talk to me as if we're, acquaintances, quite confidently, and because they really have a sense of how we operate.
All right, this is probably a good time to have a look at Bernie's website, if you've got that on your screen, Peter.
I do.
And,
one I prepared.
So people, we'll do the get some feedback from Peter on Bernie's website, and then I'll open it up for discussion and questions. Whilst I'm handing over the controls to you, Peter, Bernie actually had a question and said, is social media for all types of businesses, even engineering? Do you want to answer that while I give you control?
I will. It's a really good question, Bernie, and probably one you could relate to, and they haven't taken it up. Is a client we did some work for quite some time ago, hotwash.com.au. So Jim, John knows Jim, and he does very large industrial washing equipment. And when I first dealt with Jim, I thought on social, because I package things up. We have a website, and all of the different elements of being online we have in modules. So I already mentioned the local online hero package. We have a social media package. We have an SEO package, all broken down into modules. When I was talking to Jim, he said social media wasn't for him. I didn't disagree. In hindsight, the question you've got to ask yourself, are your clients or the champions for your clients on social media? Because quite often when I'm working with corporate clients, they say, oh yeah, but my clients, they're not on social media. Okay, what about the PA? What about the champions in that business? Are they on social media? Are they likely to be exposed? Are they likely to see something that's going to resonate with it? I think that's probably the question you need to ask yourself, and obviously if there's a yes, then you would consider social media. At least some elements of it. One of the things I will say is that I generally recommend focusing on two. You can do all 4 or 5, there's sort of about 5 main platforms. You've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Generally, you can do all 5, but focus on 2 and really trying to champion 2, yeah? Hopefully that helps you, Benny.
All right.
Okay, so looking at your website, so everybody can see this screen now, is that correct?
I believe so, yep. We can see Pure Engineering.
Cool, there you go. Okay, so, there's elements on this site that I believe are just brochure style, Bernie. So it literally does look like a brochure. The little things like you contact us, you don't have a phone number on the website, guess what? That's probably a plus, not a negative. I discussed this in the workshop with everybody, that on my website I have my phone number on the contact page because I don't want to make it easy for people, because I want them to read stuff. I want them to go to more than one page as well. So everything I do is for 2 reasons, because you really look at who's coming to a website. There's 2 entities, people, the search engine, so you've got to play the game with both. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. The term welcome, yeah, you can lose that. That's very 90s. Seriously, move that along. But it's not. Maybe it's engineers. The text is not easy to read. It's not really. I had to really work at finding out what your core business was about. Once I worked it out, I was actually quite interested. But small text like this is harder to read. Now, you could probably go to my website and go, well, Pete, you've got lots of text. Yes, but there's also on websites and in printed copy, there's a rule called double readership path, where people come to a website, they'll read a headline, there's a sub-headline, so they'll scan down, they'll read a headline, sub-headline, bullet points. Once they get to the bottom, they'll go back up, and if that's grabbed their interest, they will then read the fine print. There's a bit too much fine print here. You could do probably a summary. You could probably use bullet points, with summaries of the areas of expertise you do, using little, ticks and so forth there we do this, and then have sort of 5 broad ticks, and then have a paragraph of text. And it gives a summary of what your business is about, and people will read on if that's what they're looking for. So hopefully that makes sense.
I'll turn Bernie's mic on. So,
okay.
Bernie, you're now on.
Well, that's a bit scary. G'day, how you doing?
Yeah, good, Bernie. Does that make sense what I just said?
Yeah, yes, it does actually. It's probably everything. They're all the things that I've been told by other people. So yeah, everything you've said there is definitely on the list. And one of the things that I was really interested in hearing your feedback is because we're about to launch into upgrading this and taking everything you say on board to hopefully make it a ripper of a website.
Yeah, cool. Because you've got to qualify people. It's some people say, oh, the phone's ringing off the hook, or I'm getting lots of inquiries, and then all of a sudden, the excitement wanes when they find out that, oh, it's the wrong sort of client. You've got to qualify them, yeah, okay, oh, that's good. Now, what else was there? There was, we'll just have a look at some pages. Yeah, so it's just hard to read. It's hard to follow. Yeah. It could be done so much better. You could talk to us if you like. If you already got somebody engaged, hey, that's fine. Take it on board and run with it. Hey, look, this, by the way, big blocks of uppercase text is really hard to read. Apart from the background of the font colour, it's harder to read. But yeah, extended series of uppercase text is not easy to follow. Yeah, look, so much can be done with this. Absolutely.
Peter, do you have an example of a good website?
Well, define good, John.
Well, yours.
Oh, yeah, good point. Look, funnily enough, I'll bring mine up. Last week on the 21st of April, Google started rolling out their mobile responsive test, so it's a part of the algorithm now.
Yeah.
Sites that are mobile responsive will earn branding points with Google, and well, probably more so that websites that aren't mobile responsive will get demerit points. So my website will get demerit points. Bye team, bye girls. I'm just saying goodbye to my girls, they're just leaving for the day. And my website's like the mechanic's car, we've actually yet to do the mobile responsive upgrade. We're not that fast, we hold SEO in some niche terms. But looking at my website, quick view, I'm using slides, it's loading slow, I think it's the software slowing it down.
That's right.
Go to webinar. So, summary of what it is I do, I've got my picture there, why, credibility, lots of people do know me. I also walk into businesses and people say hello to me and I don't know them because, that's important, but that's not for everybody. That may well not be for you, Bernie. It is text-driven, but you can see that I've got a paragraph, I've got some bullet points, very short paragraphs. You can understand that people's concentration span online is really short. Probably not so much for engineers, Bernie. Merited there just because of the very nature of the industry and what they have to do. However, it may not be engineers you're attracting to your business, so you don't create it for your like-minded people, if that makes sense. Yeah?
I've turned Bernie's mic off, so.
Oh, sorry, Bernie, you've been muted. Your point of view, you were disregarded. Sorry. And so, if we scroll down the page, so graphically that looks fine. I've also got the big sign-up, the 7 keys. Trying to qualify people online is very important. Now, this is, basically called the lead generation prospect qualification angle. and it's not as effective as it used to be. When we started, this was really effective. You know, your sign-up rate was 60, 70%. You'd be lucky if it's 10 now. So we're going to be evolving this. We've got some other models we're rolling out. You still want to try and, it's basically the white paper or the free report model. You know, you still want to try and qualify people though, some sort of offer in exchange for their information, but you may want to just cut straight through the chase, free quote, free scope, free obligation, free stuff. We've got some other ideas, but I can't share that with you because I'd have to kill you all. If we scroll down the page, you see I've got doorway buttons. I want to take people on a journey. So, you know, taking people through to this page will show them, and I'd recommend you have a look at this page later. It shows people our modules, how we've broken everything online down into modules, because it's based on your budget and your needs as to whether you need a particular module or not. Lead generation, social media, search engine. So remember, every time somebody's clicking through to one of these buttons, you'll see that they have a hover functionality, so it's very obvious they're clickable links. So it increases your click-through rate. Every time somebody goes through there, they're staying on the site longer, plus you're earning a brownie point for going through to another page. Here's my blogging section. Now, you don't have to have as many blog posts showing as what I do. I like to show a lot because I keep people engaged. My visit time is actually quite high. This is the latest blog post I did, and I've trickily kept this one at the top, mobile friendly versus mobile responsive. There is a difference. I wrote that article in 2012, so effectively nearly 3 years ago, and Google have only just rolled out mobile responsive. So we were way ahead of the game, you know, going right back. Okay, I'm going to get off my website because this is not all about me. You can go and visit that in your own time.
You ready
back to Bertie's website.
Okay.
Sorry? No,
yep,
no.
We'll stop for questions in a minute before we run out of time, Peter.
Yep, let's do that. Let's do that right now.
All right. The Wayne's got a few questions here about positioning on Google for maximum exposure and how. I think you've talked a fair bit about that.
Yep.
Charting up the Google business sites. I'm not really sure what you meant there, Wayne. Wayne, I'll turn your microphone on if you want to just ask the question in your...
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
oh, so
Wayne,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, charting up means making it look like glamorous. Let's say attractive to people who want to buy my product.
Right. Okay, so if you were to look at mine, there's my profile online. You can still see my screen, yeah?
Yes, I can.
Talking about in the Google search results, is that what you're referring to?
Well, yeah, I guess I'm referring to because I've managed to get which has been a great giant step for Wayne Hart, is to get a place on Google.
Yep.
After we met last time, I went home and got stuck into it, and in fact I had Google call me. They phoned me and ultimately explained what the problem was. And it was pretty simple.
Wayne, sorry,
Wayne. One step.
Wayne, just can you move the microphone just away from your mouth a little bit, please?
Yeah, sorry about that. Apologies. Is that better?
Yeah, you're breathing heavy on us. Yep. Carry on.
Okay, so I want to maximise that Google presentation. So now the question comes in there, I'm just going to drop this in, is you were talking about blogs and blogging. Now, should this be on your website, LinkedIn, or on Google?
You should remember, everything's about your website, so put it on your website, and then you can place it out to those platforms with the link back to your website. Exactly the same as what I've done. I've shown you the blog post here. There. There's the blog post there. Now that's gone out to my Facebook profile with links back to my website. So if I was to go to this article now, and it will load and hopefully load quickly, And I'll just scroll down quickly to the very bottom here. There's a little summary about me, so again, it's exposing people to me. And in a moment, you'll see these share icons should have some numbers come up. Otherwise, they might just really embarrass me. Oh no, there they are. They didn't embarrass me at all. See, I told the truth 17 times, 5 times on Twitter, and it's been shared 5 times on LinkedIn. So the bottom line is, to answer your question directly, post a blog on your website and then share it on the social media platform.
So how does Google pick up that, by the way?
Well, you can post that in your Google Plus profile. It's one of the things we do with the local online hero. Yep.
All right. You can have some discussion offline about that. I just want to give some of the other guys a chance to ask questions. So if you've got a question for Peter, can you just press the raise your hand button and I'll turn your microphone on. So it's time for questions. And Peter, while we do this, can you give control back to me, please?
No.
Somehow I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, I just want to have a quick word with Fiona. Fiona, hopefully you're still on the call. When I looked at your website, it's missing buttons, graphic or whatever, but I tell you what I was impressed with was those 4 statements. I thought they were really cool, like they actually really spoke to the audience that you're trying to attract, and like 10 points for that. Design-wise, ways to encourage people to walk through. It's missing all of those elements. But from a marketing point of view, that was great. That's gold when you see a website like that for somebody like myself. It's like, now they understand who they're talking to. Now we need to convert that into something that's going to get them to click through the traffic and the engagement. Hopefully that's of value to you, because I really was quite impressed with that part. Okay, now I'm going to hand it back to you, John. I do remember how to do that. And back over to you.
Okay. So, anyone got a question for Peter before we start to wrap up? Olga asked about SEO. That was one of her areas of interest. I think you've covered that pretty well, Peter.
Yep.
You answered Bernie's question about social media and the types of business. We've had some discussion with Wayne, and there may be an opportunity for Wayne to ask some of his other questions afterwards. Bernie has got his hand up. Bernie, your microphone's on.
Right. Yeah, I just typed that in, but yeah, I was just going to ask, do you have to write your own blogs, or can you cut and paste or pilfer articles from elsewhere just to, I guess, save a bit of time and that type of thing?
Look, you can, and the word is not pilfer, it's plagiarise, research, and John will play a specific song for you related to that. So I believe that's going to happen this Friday. John, is that happening?
That's right. We will all know the story of Nikolai Ivanovich Lobachevsky by the end of Friday's session.
There you go. So do listen to that. But look, to directly answer your question, you can outsource it. You can, borrow the article from online, but as long as you reference the original author. There is software out there. Copyscape is one that does roam the internet looking for duplicate content. And some people put it on so their content doesn't get stolen. You do get demerit points if the content is direct, exact duplicates, because Google knows there's demerit points there. But look, if you know your subject and you're passionate about your subject, it'll be something I recommend you do write yourself. I have got copywriters. In fact, I've got a local girl, and you've got to be very careful with outsourcing to overseas copywriters. Don't bother. Seriously, don't bother. There might be $3 an hour, but it's not good English. But I actually have a local copywriter who has a package of around 110 a week for a blog a week, and if you engaged her for sort of like a 3-month program, your website will crank. Be the best money you've ever spent. Local, fantastic copywriter, good researcher. So, but I write all my own blog posts. Probably don't do as many as I could or should because of time, Bernie, which I certainly understand is probably why you're asking.
Yep.
Yeah, something on
Exactly why. Yep.
on that front.
Sorry, say again?
Something I've found. Dragon, company called Dragon, do speech to text conversion, and they've been doing it for years, and they've got pretty good now. And there are various apps that you can get from Dragon. I use an iPad. That's a historical thing. I'm a Microsoft man, really. But there's an app on the iPad called Dragon Dictation, and it's free. And I find it's very, very accurate and very easy to use. So I'm now using that to start creating my blog posts and things, because I can get through it a lot quicker than typing it all up manually. So that's something to think about as well, Bernie.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, all right, I'll have a look at that for sure.
Cool.
Okay, muting you again. Any more questions for Peter or myself? There's no hands going up. Questions that came in, Bernie's just asked his. Wayne asked
Well, if we could just backtrack to Olga's question about SEO. Is Olga still on the call?
Yep.
So what specifically was your question, Olga?
Olga, your microphone's on.
She's done the old walk away from the microphone pretending she's still there.
Or the technology's not working for her.
Yeah, well, there's the point. Yeah.
Okay, we tried.
Yep, we did. Sorry, Olga.
Fiona's got her hand raised, but I can't turn her microphone on because it doesn't appear to have one because of the way that she's joined the webinar. So
right.
can you type a question in or a chat question?
Yeah, try chatting the question in. No?
No, nothing coming through. So we're going to have to wrap up, Peter. We've gone a little bit over time. I will put just quickly to, I'm just making sure we've got the right screen up here. Yep. Thank you. I've now got control again. Just quickly, and I'll put your contact details up in a sec, Peter, so that everybody knows how to contact you for any questions offline. When it comes to digital media marketing, we're talking about building brand awareness, getting ranked highly in search engine, promoting events. That's something we didn't talk about, but that's a great use of social media. I use it a fair bit for that. Product and service launches. So when you've got something new going on or specials happening, driving people to your website, we covered that. Creating a sales pipeline. That's a lead generation thing as well, which we've sort of talked about. Positioning yourself as a brand and as an authority, you talked about that, and that's where the blogging comes in. And developing trust, as you said. People buy from people they trust these days, and people getting to know you via social media, uncannily, it develops a kind of a trust so that they're more likely to buy and more receptive to buy if you've already had some conversations with them on social media and they've got to know you. So let me just put your details up, Peter, so that here are ways you can contact Peter. Peter at smarterwebsites.com.au. There's Peter's website and blog, LinkedIn, the Peter Butler. So somebody else obviously got Peter Butler.
Aye.
But you did get Peter Butler on Facebook. Well done on that one.
I did. It was hard work.
And on Twitter, it's at Smarter Websites. So thank you, Peter. It's been great. We could go on for hours and hours on this topic, and it's a very big topic, but hopefully that's given everybody a taste and a bit of direction. And if they want more detail and want some follow-up, then they've got your contact details there. And I'm sure you gave out your business cards in the workshop.
I certainly did. Yeah, cool. and thanks everybody for being on the call, and hopefully we added some value to your business.
All right. Thanks, Peter. I'm just going to wrap up now, and then stop the recording and we'll go. So the workshop on Friday, I want you to know your 3 M's. Have a real good think about that in terms of who your niche or clusters of niches are, what's the best medium to contact them, and what's the message. And be prepared to share your digital media marketing changes. So what have you got out of Peter's workshop session and today in terms of what are you going to do differently? And then we'll I'll have another topic for you as well. So it'll be a pretty full morning on Friday, so please get there on time so we can get off to a good start. Look forward to seeing you all then, those who are part of the mentoring group. For the others, thank you for being on the call. It's been great having you on board. Thank you for your interaction and your questions. And now it's goodbye from me, goodbye from Peter.
Goodbye. Sounds like two Ronnies.